Sponsored by Local Touch Online, a free online magazine that has an exclusive article by Pop Culture Geekery every month. Also sponsored by Sunstone Survival, a veteran-owned company that specializes in custom survival kits and emergency survival gear. Go to sunstonesurvivals.biz and enter the code PCGEEK to get 10% off any one-time purchase. Hello and welcome to another episode of Pop Culture Geekery. I'm Joe Solis, and today we're going to talk about the new Netflix release, Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling. So for those of you who don't know me personally, and you probably, even if you do, you don't know how much I love this show. I mean, you want to know how much I love Rocko's Modern Life? This is how much I love Rocko's Modern Life. This was actually Hill Country Comic Con this year, and somebody was dressed up as Rocko, and I was just like, that's so awesome. This is one of those shows that I grew up with. It was, Nicktoons in the early 90s, and it was just so great and so funny and had so many things in it that I didn't even realize later as an adult. I actually have been wanting to get it for years. Thanks to Amazon Prime Day, I finally picked up the complete series. So I'm definitely going to be checking these out because I know that there's a lot later on in the series that I didn't get to see. It was just one of those I basically would watch it whenever it was on TV. Because back then I don't remember what the set schedule was for Nicktoons. But it originally ran from 1993 to 1996. It was created by Joe Murray. So for those of you who have no idea what Rocko is, so basically Rocko is a wallaby who it's a moving to the big city type of story. He comes to a town called O-Town and befriends a steer named Heifer and a turtle named Filbert, and he has a little dog named Spunky. And it was just one of those shows that was super goofy, very traditional, like Looney Tunes style animation as far as everything was exaggerated when things happened, when characters got excited, like their eyes would get real big, or, they were very stretchy, so it was just done very traditionally. But one of the things that a lot of people realized later, and we learned that what Nickelodeon had found out after the fact was creator Joe Murray and his team had put a lot of hidden meanings in the show and a lot of adult innuendos, which was actually something that was kind of common in the early Nicktoons. See Ren and Stimpy for that. But, these were things that I didn't realize till I got a little bit older. And even as I was looking for episodes, because for years it just was never released. I mean, they might have had a few things here and there, but definitely never anything complete like what I just got. When Nickelodeon realized what these guys were doing, some of the episodes were actually censored. One of the famous examples is the restaurant that the characters go visit, which was originally called the Choky Chicken, but Nickelodeon didn't like that, so they made them change it to the Chewy Chicken. I am happy to say that for the special, the Choky Chicken is back. So that just gives you an idea. You can actually look online and find a list of all the different hidden things that are in the past episodes. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I didn't even think to research it, but that the complete series I got is unedited, because it was definitely things that are questionable, but not anything that most kids would pick up on. But for the Netflix show, they definitely had the freedom again to do what they wanted. You can tell when you watch it. And the special, it's only 45 minutes long, so it's kind of like an extra long episode, but the show itself, it's kind of very meta, because for years, fans have been asking creator Joe Murray to bring the show back, and, I don't know if it was just because, Nickelodeon owned the rights or what the deal was, but he just, there was never anything solidified. And the special kind of takes that idea and converts it into a story that kind of uses that idea. I'm gonna stay away from spoilers. There's really not too much to spoil with this one. I mean, it's up to you. There might be some light spoilers, but I'm not going to get into like story points and things like that. I will say that the special is definitely a love letter to fans. From the opening scene, if you're a fan like I am, you're going to be pausing and watching some of the things in the background. Because basically the premise is the guys have been stuck in space for the last 20 years. They kind of play with an idea of a long joke of the time frame, which reminded me a lot of the sequel to Dumb and Dumber, which is Dumb and Dumberer, or whatever it was called, where Harry and Lloyd had that joke where he was pretending to be, incapacitated for, probably was 20 years, I don't remember. But it's the same idea here. They play with this joke that these guys have been stuck in space for 20 years, and the only thing they have to watch is one VHS of their favorite show, which is called The Fatheads. And for those of you who don't know the origins of that, there's an episode in the past. Rocko has these neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Bighead, who Mr. Bighead, is the grouchy neighbor, and Mrs. Bighead is, his wife, who's a lot more friendly. And so basically, they have a story in the past show where their son Ralph, who is actually voiced by creator Joe Murray, talks about how he wanted to create this show, and it basically, in essence, is a show about his parents. And it apparently was a mega hit. And so back then, I didn't realize, but it was kind of interesting that Joe Murray chose to voice that character, because I'm sure there was a lot of truth in what that character went through to become an animator. I mean, I've never read Joe Murray's story, but I'm sure, like most people, I'm sure he had his struggles to get to where he got back then, and actually end up with this successful show on Nickelodeon. If you keep your eyes open, you're going to see a lot of callbacks to the old episodes. I mean, just little things I caught, the little melted toy soldier, the green sponge creature that Spunky used to carry around. So basically the idea of the Fatheads VHS being played too many times over the last 20 years and finally messing up is the catalyst for the story, because they finally decide to go back to Earth for that very reason, because they have nothing else to do in space, because their one VHS is gone, which I thought was great. And then once they get to Earth, if you've seen the teaser trailer, at this point is basically what the trailer showed, which is where they come back to Earth and they see that, a lot of things have changed in 20 years. And this is where Joe Murray and company begin all their jabs at modern society from the point of view of characters that are still stuck in the 90s. The famous big company in Rocko was called Conglamo, and their slogan now is called "We Still Own You," which I thought was hilarious. I feel like Joe Murray and company, they just went down the line. They make fun of Starbucks, they make fun of energy drinks, 3D printers, online ordering, iPhones, VR, even YouTubers. But there's actually some sad realities there too, like Rocko's comic shop is closed, and his favorite superhero, which is Really, Really Big Man, has gotten a full-length feature film, but it's all dark and gritty, so it's very much making fun of the whole Batman versus Superman movie. But at this point, they get all the goofiness out of the way at the beginning, and then they kind of start injecting some heart into the story, which I really appreciated, because they could have easily just done just a fun, silly, callback episode, basically, because that's kind of what it started out as. But at that point, Rocko's plight about he wants to bring the Fatheads back, because apparently they've been gone for years off the air. So basically, Rocko's mission is the same mission that fans in real life have had for years, to get Rocko back on screen. So I really appreciated that idea. I think it shows that Joe Murray really was listening, and I'm sure he was trying his best. And thankfully, the stars finally aligned, and he was able to get this done. I will say that it's amazing how much they match everything. The animation's the same. All the voice actors are back. If any of the voice actors are different, I couldn't tell, because everybody sounds the same, which is amazing after 20 years, or 23 actually, I think is the official count. So they even make fun of CGI a little bit. But all in all, when all is said and done, the main thing with this special is, the idea behind it is how to deal with change, which I thought was a pretty powerful message, which I'd never seen in Rocko before. So I think it was smart of them to do that. I know, people do like entertainment, but I feel like nowadays, people like to have a message or things like that. So that's the part where I won't go into spoilers, but there's a lot of things that do change. There's some characters that change, which is pretty impressive to get all that done in 45 minutes. So it was a nice message. It actually made a nice little cap to the series, because I know the series didn't have an official ending, but with this one you could kind of say that it does. I mean, there's definitely room for more if they wanted to keep going, but that's going to be up to you guys. If you go watch it, Netflix will see whether or not it's getting views, because apparently they're the ones who did the distribution rights, from what I looked up, and that's why it didn't air on Nickelodeon. But anyway, guys, I mean, for me, it was so perfect. It's not 100%. I can't give it a 10 out of 10. I think I'm going to settle on an 8 out of 10 for this one, because I think it did a really good job. If I had to nitpick about anything, it's that it truly is a love letter to fans. Like, I don't know if you've never really seen Rocko, if you would get it. I mean, you would understand all the jokes, all the jabs they're taking at modern culture, but it may not mean as much to you if you didn't follow these characters back then. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but I was trying to think of it in that respect. But other than that, I mean, I hope it encourages people to go back and watch the old episodes. I wish Netflix would have acquired the rights to that so they could show them. But like I said, it was relatively cheap on Amazon. I would definitely recommend picking it up. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with it. So next week we have the Invader Zim movie coming on Netflix. So I'm really looking forward to that. So anyway, guys, just wanted to put this together for y'all, and hopefully you'll give it a try. Thank you to those of you who have subscribed so far. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thank you to those who have shared our videos. Continue to share, continue to spread the word. And hey, put a comment below and let us know if you did watch Rocko back in the day. What was your favorite episode? I did want to share real quick what mine was. Me and my brother especially, we still joke about this one. So the episode where Filbert finds the fortune cookie that reads, "Bad luck and extreme misfortune will infest your pathetic soul for all eternity." And then basically the rest of the episode is, no matter what fortune cookie he opens, it's always that fortune. So that's my personal favorite. If you have any other favorites, post them in the comments. That's a great example of what the show's like. So anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and we will see you next time.